Coming out? Good night. I'm just kidding. I got roped into being the MC for Weasel, a good friend of mine, publisher to many of us, and we're all proud to come up and do a little reading with him. And so, first up, if you will, Mr. King John.
All right. Thank you very much.
And John.
Yeah, I love me some Chris Wise, man. He wrote the best poem ever about hating your boss, which I kept, not you, but my other bosses. Female bosses. Yeah, I kept that for years. Oh, it's not being sexist. It's a long story that I won't bore you with. But let's just say, don't make your honey where you make your money. Boom. All right, now, I have a foot problem. So before I'm going to sit down and explain what happens before we get underway here, so I don't have to say it many times. Thank you. All right, there we go. I can be loud. So my girlfriend Melissa, who I love dearly, decided one time recently to try to pumice off a callus on the bottom of my left foot. Unfortunately, she pumiced off too much and it opened a wound which got infected, and I had to have surgery. I won't bore you with all the details, but they removed a bone in my foot, so I'm currently hobbling around on recovery status. But I couldn't miss Weasel's going away party, because Weasel has done so much for the Houston and Clear Lake poetry communities. He's one of the edgiest poets in town. And I can't believe he's going to freaking Michigan where he's going to freeze his balls off. But that's his choice. All right? So he just published my latest book, which is called Email Epistles. And what it is responses to other people's emails. I'll get emails every day from other poets who send me poems or things they've been thinking about. And some of y'all know Tom, the world poet out of Austin. He kind of got me on this chain with about a dozen poets. So I kind of started responding to people. And I thought, well, this is shit that's fresh and, right now. And then my former girlfriend, graphic designer, said she didn't want to type any more of my shit. So I said, well, why don't I just send you all these poems I've been sending on the internet recently? So she made it into a book, and Weasel published it. So thank you, Weasel. So I'm going to start with a few poems about contemporary problems. And by the way, all the titles are the taglines on the internet. So, you got anything else that's referring to, blah, blah. So this is Ray, add your name. We must address Facebook's dangerous concentration of corporate power. I hate Facebook. The way it steals your data for corporate profit and the machinations of the surveillance state. I hate the way it dredges moments you were glad to end. I hate the ease of like and share, where people pretend they'll appear at your gigs but never do. Present company accepted. I post nothing on social media, and you might call me antisocial, but I prefer the actual meat space interaction. So much more than a cyber cell hell, where you can't really tell what is true or faux or yes or no, except when told by some billionaire millennial financed by the CIA and hiding algorithms meant to crush real dissent behind a wall of false, pious PC proclamations that aren't even an approximation of lived reality, as now even Generation Z can see, comment on, and mock, only to be banned in what was once a proudly free land. And anyone who relies on Facebook for accurate information or an unbiased look into what's happening on our ship of fools deserves this manipulated high-tech tool. All right, that's Big John LeBon goes, yes. I always tell people, don't bother to clap, but snapping your fingers is cool. It's a very beat thing, Weasel's very beat. Speaking of poets, oh, by the way, this is Big John on the bongos, accompanies me, kind of a local legend here in Houston for going to many old-time rock and roll shows back in the day. I think who have you seen around here? Weren't you older than Methuselah? I think he saw Christ in his original incarnation. All right, so this is called Rethink Again. Deification of dead poets may indeed suck, but when life is drained from the living through devices become vices, better not to duck. Time to keep giving. Some radicals join ISIS. Some join an alleged rebellion. Really, a co-opted corporate war Janus. Now, you may hate the raging orange hellion steering our dying empire like Nero, but his lies are the ugly, honest face of a sick, violent, materialistic society that subconsciously, finally, decided, rather than pretend to be the world's hero, it would show its bloody fangs for posterity. As to the role of writing, in an era of endless backbiting, when people wonder if it's worth fighting, I say, read more Orwell. He had the keys to this hell, but not in 1984. Try Down and Out in Paris and London, a book which made me glad I never worked in a kitchen. And read Auden's tribute to Yeats to learn about the poetic greats. Then quote Julius Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. Jan Cassius hath a lean and hungry look. Wonder why should you write another book? When a fat, wheelchair-bound homeless begs you for money at the Walmart and your revulsion starts, remember, this life is priceless, and what you do with it is your choice. Groovy, baby. Groovy. All right, so this was something that I wrote. Sometimes I'll get these emails and I just want to be completely contrarian. Got a lot of contrarian in me. So people will send these real positive, upbeat emails, and I'll just slam back with my negative shit. So this is, the regarding is an emotional intelligence primer in the form of a tender illustrated poem about our capacity for love. Marcus Aurelius' key to living fully and more. I mean, I don't think I've smoked that much pot in years to be into that quote. So I call this one retitled Emotional Intelligence. You'll catch a couple of the art references. My heart is a public toilet. My heart is a steaming stream. My heart is a full urinal where Duchamp took a dump. A fountain of regrets, a mountain crowded as Everest at peak times, where morons queue to die. My urethra is connected to all, sharing a yellow river, pumping intermittently. My heart winds through China, my head an aqueduct in ancient Rome. Below me, an ancient gypsy cures my impotence like a character in Satyricon, with my heart dead and gone. And I actually put apologies to any delicate sensibilities on that.
I like your heart being a public toilet with a little bongo in the background.
Hey, yeah, didn't that add to something there? You always hear plop, plop.
It really
It's just sort of going
Dun, dun,
two.
dun, too. That was great.
Speaking of which, I like dark humor. A shotgun suicide to the jaw that fails. A bank robber sent to prison for tax evasion. A talking bird who can only say, I can't speak. Fish in the ocean who say, humans pee in this water. A surrealist artist tasked with a formal portrait. A silent movie comic with an operatic voice. An Egyptian who mummified his cat for afterlife affection. A man with dementia carrying the nuclear launch codes. The fact that Richard Nixon was a Quaker and Shaker furniture is rustic yet outrageously expensive. When your lover is the ultimate cosmic joker, pointing out the truth that you're not the cream of the crop, which she did. I lost my wallet in New Orleans one time, and she was like, well, you're not the cream of the crop. I think I was passed out in an alley somewhere. Thanks, Melissa. True. Pointing out that your lover says, you're not the cream of the crop, I bellow a belly laugh that may never stop. Because we all live in a meaningless universe where we constantly seek meaning. So here was when I was being surrealistic. So, trippy. I was a teenage adult. Fast flow of river in the canyons. At the top of the pint, mound in the bottom of the ground. With my songs of glued triumph, when the wings soared, I was wearing tire tread sandals, small, tight as an acrobat, heavily tripping on ecstasy and THC, sold separately. Ear lost at the exit of this earth, where I delightedly at heights roll where cheese wheels ideas roll, roll, roll through happy myths and dark concretes, transfixed by the scrolling breaking news. Take a croissant jelly Methodist, dropping 5 burnt ostriches, 6 soaring aircraft carriers, 7 chemical compounds, 8 oysters Rockefellers, 9 named Indians on metal teepees. And you should never give parables with a pour of Mrs. Dash and a ginger beard. Now, to lock the loudness, destroy old lines like Dostoevsky for experts. I must have waked and baked that morning or something. I really don't remember writing that, so there it is. Well, now I'm a lawyer. I didn't say that. Please don't tell the bar. All right. On this one, here's another pompous title I'm getting from these people. Regarding David White on love, Herman Hesse on solitude, the value of hardship, and how to find your destiny. Nick Cave on art in the age of AI. You get that at 7 in the morning when you're on the toilet. What the fuck am I going to do with that? You know? I don't know. Well, here's what I did with it. Has solitude turned me rude? Was Nietzsche a Nazi? Was Hesse a Buddhist? As I grow older, tired and less bolder, life is still the oldest riddle. I'm toast hot off the griddle. With these words I fiddle, knowledge's holy spittle. China's latest broadcast from the dark side of the moon reminds me future and past are only present's anteroom. While I only care to stare, my youth's truth now an empty dare. Like the ball toss at the country fair, I try to win the teddy bear and lose the reason why I care. A loving pair in silent despair. Well, that turned really sad and dark. All right. I'm going to do a couple more. How about 3 more? We got time?
Yeah.
All right. So here was something from Tom. Dropping Bibles instead of bombs. Right? I mean, you can imagine how I reacted to that one. All right?
They're kind of the same.
Well, in a way, they are. They both contain a big truth, I guess, and a bombing at the end. Or an apocalypse at the end, right? I mean, Revelation is basically an apocalypse. I was lucky enough to go to Patmos one time, actually. It's a detour, digression. But I was able to go into the cave where John wrote the apocalypse in Patmos Island in Greece. It's really cool. It's like this underground grotto cave, and you have to crawl down in there. And supposedly the story goes that John was like 90, and he was sitting at this stone thing, and every day he scratched out the next white horse revelation or whatever. You know, who knows? But it was kind of cool. But this has nothing to do with that. I hated high school, but loved philosophy. I was drawn to the darker existentialists. I believed Sartre when he said, hell is other people. Yep. Like Camus' Sisyphus, I fancied myself uniquely rolling the burdensome boulder of life up every hill, only to realize later that my hell was myself. Heaven was where I could free my mind, beyond good and evil. While the devil, he lived in the man who shot John Lennon. I stood on a mossy hill that December, holding hands in a circle with a high school friend who 3 years later would become my college lover, teaching me that heaven is truly loving another and hell is losing that feeling. Now my current woman lies snoozing beside me, and I pray for all souls to sleep peacefully, live joyfully, and never suffer want. But then I wake up. All right, so I was in a punk rock band in the 80s, Peace Corps. We played in Austin a lot. If you know about the old punk rock days, we played with bands like Scratch Acid and the Hickoids. I know all those guys. Those that had really short hair and screamed, and we had skinhead fans and started leaving. But this is, I've been seeing a lot of my old punk rock friends dying, unfortunately. You know, you hit a certain age and that hard lifestyle, so I had to go to Austin a few times and go to people's memorial services. So somebody sent me something about dancing with despair and depression, so I wrote this. Punk rock nihilism is soured romanticism. Austin was an epicenter of youth crying, but now the old school is dying of old age, depression, drugs, suicide, lack of hugs, early cynicism swept under rugs, optimism curdling to DT bugs. Anger may be an energy, but the second law of thermodynamics ensures final entropy will win and make you sick.
You're here.
Here, here. All right, I'm going to do two more. I got one that I was going to do, and then I want to end on a happy note. I remember when I first put out my first book, so they said, can you read something happy? And I flipped it, and no, I'm afraid I can't. There's nothing happy in here. So I remembered from every book's ministry, I tried to balance it a little. But this is not going to be happy. So, how you doing over there, John? You hanging in there? Why don't you give me an intro here? All right. You go, oh, yeah, that damn chimp has a house in Tarzana, and it's still sitting and collecting royalties. The natives are restless. We want to know where we came from. Bertrand Russell said, if God created the universe, who created God? Albert Einstein said, God does not play dice with the universe. Stephen Hawking said, the universe is shaped like a shuttlecock. Does he mean God plays badminton with the universe? Or the universe is a bad backyard children's game? Or maybe Earth is a tetherball and the sun its stable central pole. Then Hawking asks, what is south of the South Pole? Now the answer is easy. Empty space. Of course, he had the academic chair once held by Sir Isaac Newton, while I'm just lying on my couch being lazy. But from this seat, Quantum theories about the origin of the universe, or multiverse, or even this free verse, bump up against our two human limitations. Scientists keep devising ever more elaborate explanations for what may simply lie beyond our comprehension. I know this. I came from my mother's womb. One day, I'll lose my heat energy and entropy into a tomb. Until then, people can launch all the Hubble telescopes, build the Large Hadron Collider, shoot off deep space probes, formulate mathematical equations, wear stage robes, pontificate on the unknowable origin of everything. Well, I wonder if whatever forces rule this realm rolled 7 or snake eyes when they seized the helm. All right, and now, ooh, I know that makes me want to go to Vegas for some reason. All right, so I'm going to read something pleasant at the end to clear the air of all my negative energy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was great.
Ray, love the jazz jam. Love each other as sisters and brothers. Lose ourselves as spiritual elves. Love the daily jam. Love what I am. Love you from afar. Love who you are. Love the brook of life. Even love the strife. Love the ocean of hope. Love some good dope. Love the search for paradise. Even, in the end, if it's just golden lies. Awake with renewed eyes and dry the fears you cry. Groovy, baby. Thank you everybody for listening. I love these guys. I can't wait to hear them perform. Thank you, Weasel.